Ezra Miller was kidnapping people, throwing chairs at people in bars, and all kinds of crazy shit. And we're like, here's the Flash, you know. So, anyways,
then you look at the Will Smith thing, and I personally am tired of bringing that up, but you know, this guy assaulted another guy in front of millions, and he's already got another movie out.
Oh yeah,
right. I mean, come on.
Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. Yeah.
I'm wondering how they're gonna pull that off, dude.
You and the rest of the comic book world, like,
wow.
Because we obviously know Jonathan Majors has been relieved of his role of Kang.
Or relieved of everything.
Yeah, relieved of everything. I actually read somewhere him and Megan Good were at some entertainment awards recently, and then they also done. So he's slowly getting back out into the press, the media.
Well, you got to go out and eat somewhere.
Yeah.
At some point, might as well, have somebody cool with you, right?
Yeah, sure. Now, do you think though, could Marvel be sitting back and letting him kind of rebuild his public image and then possibly bring him back? Do you think that that's an option?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the one thing about, we're not, well, we are a penal system, but you should have an opportunity to redeem yourself.
Yeah.
Unless you just have done something atrocious, on the lines of, serial killing and, genocide and stuff like that. You should have an opportunity. Because you have been accused of something, that doesn't necessarily mean that everything has been, considered.
Correct.
So get a guy an opportunity to redeem himself. I mean, Robert Downy Jr. had an opportunity to redeem himself. Matter of fact, you had people willing to go on a limb for him.
Correct.
And look what happened.
Exactly. Terrence Howard. Yeah.
Hey.
Now, we've seen, I think it was last year, Dana White, the guy who owns UFC.
Yeah.
We've seen him slap the shit out of his wife at a nightclub.
Wow.
They're in a little drunk argument.
Yep.
She gets a little crazy, handsy. There you go. And then Dana just slapped her like he was Cat Williams, like put some baby powder on his hand and was just smacking shit out of her. And for like 2 days, he's
Hold on, but you're not saying Cat Williams goes around slapping people, are you?
No, that's Will Smith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that.
But there was the movie. I don't know if it was Cat Williams. I think it was in one of the Friday movies with the baby powder.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
So, he pretty much did that. Gotcha. On video. It wasn't like the Jonathan Majors where, like, we got this part on video, but not that, and then she fell, and then she was drunk, and then she's crazy, and then, it wasn't like that. It was a straight up, you saw it was Dana White, you saw his wife, you saw her get handsy, and you saw him smack the shit out of her.
Wow.
For about 2, 3, 4 days, maybe, he's the worst person in the world. Now I see him in interviews and podcasts every 2 days. That's okay. No problem, because he's Dana White. No pun intended.
I was gonna say. So, what's the real difference there?
Yeah, because he's Dana White, and it's not, Jonathan White. It's Jonathan Majors. So, and now you bring up Robert Downey Jr. I think there's some parallels. The biggest difference, though, is Robert Downey Jr. was not part of the MCU prior to Iron Man because there was no MCU.
Right.
But he was in Hollywood, and he did some things that kind of got him exiled, right? Like. Or just kind of like no one was working with him at that time.
Right.
He was into drug, all kinds of shit, and they did give him the opportunity to redeem himself. So
now let's be clear about this. What he did was things that harmed himself.
Correct.
It put him in a position to be not reliable.
Yep.
Things like that. Unlike Flash Boy, who would be kidnapping people and attacking people and things like that.
Yep.
So that's the whole. And people brought up, well, why don't they give what's that kid?
Ezra
Miller.
Yep.
Why don't they treat him the way they treated Robert Downey Jr.? That's two completely different things.
Correct.
Completely different things.
Yeah, great point. Robert Downey Jr. was hurting himself.
Right.
And Ezra Miller was kidnapping people, throwing chairs at people in bars, and all kinds of crazy shit. And we're like, here's the Flash, So, anyways, but so I could see that happening, and I would be okay with that. Dude, whatever he did or didn't do, I think we all agree he made some mistakes.
Sure.
Now, should we hold him at these, for the rest of his life to this one thing he did? No.
It's. I think it's almost like they're trying to hold him at a level like they do athletes, right? Athletes are considered, for the most part,
role models.
Role models.
Right.
Like, come on.
They shouldn't
you're
be.
not.
No.
You're not. You're a guy. You got lucky, or your talent.
Yep.
And or your talent put you in a position to be in a public eye.
Correct.
That public eye is not your personal platform.
No. And it's also, I don't think it's your job. Like, you should be the role model to your own kids.
Exactly.
Now, if I want my son to learn how to dribble, don't learn that from me. Like, watch Kyrie Irving.
Right.
But I'm not saying you should do everything he does outside. He's his own man.
Absolutely.
So anyway, Kang Dynasty supposedly coming out May 1st. They have not changed the name to this yet. This is, 2 years from now. So essentially 2 years is a very long time. We could see, Jonathan Majors back in the picture. Or Kang is a character where there's so many variants. A recasting of Kang, I don't think would be that distracting.
I agree. But then you look at the Will Smith thing, and I personally am tired of bringing that up. But this guy assaulted another guy in front of millions, and he's already got another movie out.
Oh yeah.
Right. I mean, come on.
If you were a betting man, would you bet that? I'm gonna give you 3 outcomes here with Kang Dynasty. Okay, one is they change the name of the movie and wipe Kang out of it and rewrite that part of the movie. Okay. 2 is they recast Kang. Completely different actor, and move on just as they had planned to. 3, Jonathan Majors cleans up his public image, right? Gets over good with the public again,
right.
And he's back as Kang. Which one do you
do some
think?
Community service?
Yeah, there you go, community service. Yeah, You clean up you wipe off the graffiti that you did. You know,
right.
So which one do you think would happen?
I think the thing that would make the most sense would be if they changed the name, which would automatically wipe out Kang, which would automatically disassociate the Jonathan Majors character.
Okay.
So the renaming would do everything for them.
Got it. So that's what you would do, or is that what you think will happen?
No. What I would do is bring Jonathan Majors back. I would keep the name.
Got it.
But that's just me.
Got it.
I think the people that whatever this news did, I think the people are smaller set. The Jonathan Majors news, I think, pissed off fewer people than the people that would be excited to see him come back as Kang.
Okay, got it. So if you're in charge, you're bringing him back, but you think that they're going to rename it.
Yeah, I think they'll rename.
Okay. I agree with you on the first one. If I'm in charge, I'll bring him back.
Right.
Let him redeem himself. I mean, we'll do some press. He can do some public apologies if he needs to. He could whatever.
Yeah, but he's also got 2 years to do other stuff too.
Sure.
He doesn't have to stay in this Kang role. I mean, I'm sure he's not in his closet at home practicing on Kang, and he can't disassociate himself from a character that he plays.
Oh, you're saying do some other stuff that does well, and then
sure. that keeps him in the public light because he needs to eat, right?
Correct.
I mean, you got to do something,
right? So I agree. I would do that. What I think's going to happen, I think they're going to proceed with Kang Dynasty and just recast like it never happened, and just keep it moving. And just pray everyone just accepts it, based off of their track record. I mean, think about the Edward Norton Hulk.
Right.
Dude, now completely different issue, but he was a problem on set. From what everyone says, he's kind of an asshole. They just dropped him, replaced him with Mark Ruffalo like he never existed.
Right.
Terrence Howard, Rhodey. Oh, you don't want to get paid a lot less for the next movie? See you, dude.
Wow.
We're gonna cast someone who looks nothing like you, completely different complexion and everything. I'm like, how does
Right.
It's just strange. Like, can we at least do someone that kind of resembles who we had before? So
and Rhodey is a darker black person, not not the light skinned brother.
True.
Right.
True.
So I don't even know what he.
That's true.
Got that stuff from.
It is closer to comic accurate with Don Cheadle.
Right.
But
right.
It's a drastic change from what we saw before.
Sure. So they should not have. I think they should have done 2 things. They should not have cast Terrence Howard.
Okay.
Because he doesn't look like the comic book character Rhodey. Or they should have left him alone.
Sure.
And play the character and make his own, just like Robert Downy Jr. made that version of Tony Stark. They could have allowed Terrence Howard to make that version of Rhodey.
They just didn't want to pay him, and he didn't want a pay cut.
But it also, why didn't they just recast T'Challa?
Exactly.
You know, so that's a whole
T'Challa
travesty.
should have been, dude. What's Chadwick Boseman's own brother came out and said that, and does not get a lot of news. I don't know why, because he's not.
You know why.
White. So, anyways, but he had come out and said, like, my brother would have wanted y'all to, like, he wouldn't have wanted this role to death. But basically, he loved this role so much,
right?
He would have wanted it to be continued.
Of course,
and I do. I think they should have. They could have done it in a respectful way. They could have still
Absolutely.
honored him, and they could have got creative and honored Chadwick Boseman in the movie in some way, shape, or form,
right?
And recasted him. But what do I know?
I think I loved it. Matter of fact, the second Panther movie, the opening credits.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
That was just awesome. That part right there would have been enough, and then they could have moved on,
right?
Instead of what they did.
Instead of what they did.